The Depth to Delve Deep by Rote Writer. Chapter 65 Gare Nord. Rote arrives in London in the afternoon after passing through southwest England. On the way, he sporadically sees white horses sketched out of the sides of ridges. He has no intention to stay in London, not even for a night. He immediately buys a coach fare for France. It supposedly goes by Dover, then boards a ferry to Calais, and from there down into Paris. On the bus and bound for France, the bus driver, speaking with a French accent, lets the passengers know, because the English Channel is tumultuous that afternoon, an alternate route will have to be taken, the Channel. This at first seems like an exciting idea to Rope, but it turns out not to be. The bus is driven onto cattle like rail cars, and away they go underneath the English Channel, confined and blind to anything straight under the Strait of Dover. He would have liked to see the White Cliffs of Dover. For that matter, there's a lot more he would like to see in England, like Canterbury Cathedral and Citadel, but not this time. He would have liked to stop in Amiens along the way to Paris. It's where one of the seven sacred Gothic cathedrals is, not to be, but in passing. Road arrives in France. The customs agent boarding the bus takes the passengers' passports. A half hour later, the passports are returned unstamped. This sort of surprises Road. After all, he purposely leaves all his receipts pertaining to his trip to Ireland within the passport book. He does so in case his stay in the UK is questioned. Stay in the UK has since bypassed the 6 month period. He really thinks that without a stamp from Ireland, some questions will be in order. Will none come. No stamp, a return to the UK will probably be still okay, but he's still somewhat bothered. He likes the idea of his passport stamp. It's a way to prove he's been here and there. The bus carries on, down and through northern France, bypassing Calais and Amiens. Amiens. It finally arrives in Paris around 11 p.m. Rote's in Paris without the wow. How can he be in Paris, France, without feeling something other than just being tired? Tired he is while leaving the bus. His backpack, though better than his two blue bags, still weighs on him. He heads into the subway station, or as the French say, metro. He hops over a turnstile, catching what seemingly is the last metro of the night from that stop. Rote looks at the layout of the Paris metro system while on board. He gathers, judging by the intricacies of the metro map, that Paris Underground seems much bigger than London's, and the latter is quite large. He catches the last metro leaving to Gare Nord, as the operator over the speaker says so. He knows the train station, or he's heard of it before. A woman from France he meets mentions it to him. He suspects her at the time to be homeless in his country, hoping to find a flight back to her country. She lets him know way back when, perhaps foreshadowing his future. Gare Nord is a good place to find hostels. He meets her in his country while waiting for a bus back home. He's just returned from his first flight over to London, England, where he stays for a week. He's now well over into his third trimester overseas. While on his first week overseas, he leaves his SUV parked in his apartment parking lot. It's now in the long-term parking lot at the airport. Now he's wondering if he'll ever see it again. It's after midnight by the time he arrives at Gare Nord. Rote walks around the station before being forced out by guards with dogs. It closes at 1 a.m. He's a bit more pumped now that he's in Paris, just not with the same gusto on his maiden voyage overseas. He's not himself and finds it all somewhat tiring. Nonetheless, he will try to see some sights. For now, he'd like to find a hostel or some form of cheap accommodation, though at this hour it seems unlikely. It's the first week in August, the busiest time for European travelers. Paris must be in top three of all places in Europe to travel to. London and Rome probably come a close second and third. Not long after stepping outside of Gare Nord onto the street, he sees a couple above on a balcony, some seedy hotel. He shouts in English, "Where can I find accommodation around here?" Then he adds, "How much are you paying a night?" They respond in English, 60 euros. That's not a lot, and even though he can afford it, it seems too rich for Rote. He's yet to adapt to the exchange rates. With backpack on, he walks around a few blocks before realizing he's too tired to be walking the streets at this hour in his state. Rote makes his way back with his backpack to Gare Nord. He figures he'll sleep somewhere there for the night. He has no idea where he is exactly in Paris, save for the name of the train station. Gare Nord is one of the several central train stations pockmarking Paris. From what Rote's seen on maps posted on and around this train station, there are also Gare de l'Est, Gare de Lyon, among others comprising Paris' powerful transit network. Each train station serves like a heart with arteries of tracks leaving in all directions, in and out of Paris, throughout France and beyond. He would have spent the night in Gare Nord, but just after midnight they'd chase him out with dogs and guns. So Rote, along with many others, set up camp just outside the large entrance fronting Gare Nord. Rote sits on the cement sidewalk entrance with several young Germans or Austrians, he's not sure. They set up camp right near him. Together they form a little commune. There's strength in numbers against the many drunks and bums bent all out of shape around Gare Nord. No sleep finds Rote while resting on a green foam roll he pilfers from his old residence. It somewhat softens the cold cement sidewalk serving as a front entrance to Gare Nord. He feels the youthful energy from the traveling students. He needs it. He needs to feel what they're feeling, the wonder, the awe, and adventure of being in Paris. No matter where they all are at the moment, it's still Paris. Though still probably not in one of Paris' best districts, judging by the barrage of bums and drunks stumbling around. Rote lies back down on his thin green foam and rests his head on his backpack. He notices some of the students haven't only pulled out their sleeping bags, but have changed into their bedwear to settle in to sleep. He pulls out his sleeping bag, slips off his shoes, and slips inside, still wearing his clothes. Around 5 or 6 in the morning, they open the doors to Gare Nord. Rote grabs his army-style backpack. He might as well have grabbed for a plastic toy gun. Neither would be much use in a combat zone. His backpack is made out of manufactured fabric no one would want. Polyester would stub its nose if it had one. Might as well be made out of taffeta. The quality of the army print on his backpack reminds Rote of pants his adoptive parents bought for him one school year. Rote asks for a pair of jeans or cords. His parents buy him polyester pants patched with jean and corduroy prints. Bad enough Rote spends many months bothered by his two blue bags. Now he's bemoaning a backpack. It's not even been a full 24 hours since he takes it. It's just that it shifts and shimmies just like the when he borrows on his trip to Iona, except the straps on this one are a lot thinner with twice the weight packed in. In he goes, knowing there's a metro station within Gare Nord. He's trek ready though tired. He hasn't slept since he's fired, even before, and he's tired then. He has an idea. He wants to find a place to camp. He figures all the hostels will be packed, as all the affordable accommodations will be. But it's still too early to do anything but be a tourist. He looks at the metro layout and sees a stop for the Arc de Triomphe atop the Champs-Élysées. It will be a good beginning. Rote figures since it's out in the open, there can't be any charge or restriction from seeing it at this hour.